Charles and Marion Ryan were the family to create Derryweed Heights here on Mount Macedon. It was a world-class, world-renowned garden. The Ryan family were very interested in plants coming into Australia from around the world. The 19th century was a time of grand botanical exploration. The plant hunter movement was in full swing and specimens were crisscrossing the globe on boats. Azaleas and rhododendrons from China, grand sequoia from California, the maples and oaks from Europe, all were making their way into Australian gardens. Charles Ryan was wildly passionate about showcasing these rare and unusual species at Derryweed Heights. They apparently spent £30,000 on this garden. Now in today's terms, that's well over $1 million, $1.5 million. Now that's pretty incredible for one family to spend on one garden. From a main abundant spring at the back of the garden, 5 descending lakes are created by them, interspaced with pathways, hand-created drawbridges, lakes in which you could float a boat and see the reflections in these vast pools. These lakes were also abundant with beautiful water lilies, which is a family favourite of theirs. The Ryan family were friends with really interesting botanical people. Baron von Mueller and William Guilfoyle from the Royal Botanic Gardens were advisors. From this really interesting family who are immersed in the natural world, a star is born. Ellis Rowan was Charles and Marion's eldest daughter, a prolific artist producing over 3,000 artworks in her lifetime, mainly concentrated though in watercolour and gouache. Through her artistic endeavours, she grapples with some of the most urgent issues of her time, such as the classification of plants and animals, the extinction of species, evolutionary thinking, and the difficult life of the female artist. Ellis Rowan is part of a small group of late 19th century trailblazing women. It's with Marion and North that they travel together to Western Australia to paint the wildflowers there upon recommendation of the great Charles Darwin. They're painting these landscapes and, importantly so, they're recording the local flora and making significant contributions to botanical history. She writes letters back to her family and she publishes a book that is the accumulation of those letters. Her descriptions give us wonderful insight into the world she found herself in. So Ellis Rowan just wasn't a studio artist, she was an adventurer. She was a woman willing to take a risk. She was a household name. She was famous in her own lifetime, which is no small feat. And we see her turn her hand successfully across all sorts of art mediums, whether it be with Royal Worcester as a ceramicist designer, a children's book author, and she produced over 3,000 artworks in her lifetime. Now that is incredible. Life was not always easy for Ellis. Her husband Frederick dies young and her only child also dies in his early 20s in Africa. From these tragedies, Ellis returns to the family fold at Derryweed Heights and she spends the later decades of her life in the smaller remnant of her family's beautiful garden. She's buried at the Macedon Cemetery along with her family. So when I look around at the grand trees in this garden, I think back to this accomplished family that once lived here and their love of the world of plants.